Assalamu alaikum, dear students. This is Department of English, Government Postgraduate College, Attock. I am Nasir Ali Shah, Assistant Professor of English. I welcomed you in this online English class of BA. I shall teach you the novel included in your syllabus, The Old Man in the Sea, written by Ernest Hemingway. Students, before starting the textual study of this novel, it is important for us to have a little introduction about the writer. This novel is written by Ernest Hemingway. He was an American writer. It is said, every man's life ends the same way. It is only the details of how he lived and how he died that distinguishes one man from another. This Nobel Prize-winning author had a significant influence on 20th century fiction, and most of his works are considered classics today. His work is best known for his stark style and accessibility to readers. In the early 62 years of his life that followed, he forged a literary reputation unsurpassed in the 20th century. In doing so, he also created a mythological hero in himself that captivated not only serious literary critics, but the average man as well. His life and legacy are still celebrated today. In a word, we may say that he was a star. Now we come to his early life. Ernest Miller Hemingway was born in 1899 in Oak Park, Illinois. Raised in an upper middle class environment, his father was a physician and his mother had trained as a singer. The family spent summer in Michigan, where Ernest became a great lover of anything that was outdoors related. As a boy, he was taught by his father to hunt and fish along the shores and in the forests surrounding Lake Michigan. This love of nature stayed with him throughout his life. Nature would be the touchstone of Hemingway's life and work. When Ernest graduated from high school, he became a reporter in the Kansas City Star. The First World War. Following America's entry into the World War I, Hemingway tried to enlist in the US Army, as he was very enthusiastic to enroll himself in the Army as a soldier and fight for his country. But he failed the physical examination due to poor eyesight. Still wanting to participate in the war effort, Hemingway signed up with the Red Cross as an ambulance driver. Hemingway was seriously injured in 1918 by fragments from an Austrian mortar shell. Though badly injured by the mortar and hit by machine gun fire as well, Hemingway worked to secure the safety of his fellow soldiers, getting them out of danger. The Italian government awarded him the Silver Medal of Bravery for his heroic actions. Hemingway spent time recovering at the hospital in Milan, the Italian city, where he met a nurse, Agnes von Kowalski. She was 6 years older than Hemingway, but nevertheless he fell in love with her But she rejected his marriage proposal, saying that he was too young and immature for her. There were other reasons as well. Now, a heartbroken Hemingway channeled his disappointment into his writings. He decided then that writing would be the most important and reliable element of his life. Friends and lovers would come and go, but he would always have his writings. It's obvious that an indelible mark on his psyche had provided inspiration for and was fictionalized in one of his early novels, A Farewell to Arms. Now we come to his marriages. Ernest Hemingway married Elizabeth Harley Richardson in 1921. It was his first marriage out of four. He divorced her in 1927 and married a wealthy woman in the same year. But this marriage also ended in a divorce in 1940. And he married a novelist, Martha Gellhorn, but again divorced her in 1945. And again in 1946 he married Mary Welsh. She was his fourth wife. Now we come to his literary style and works. Many people hold the opinion that there has been no American writer like Ernest Hemingway. From almost the beginning of his writing career, Hemingway employed a distinctive style which drew comment from many critics. Hemingway does not give way to lengthy geographical and psychological description. His style has been said to lack substance because he avoids direct statements and descriptions of emotions. Basically, his style is simple, direct, and somewhat plain. He developed a forceful prose style characterized by simple sentences and few adverbs or adjectives. He wrote concise, vivid dialogues and exact description of places and things. His major works include his first novel, which was written in 1927, A Farewell to Arms, which depicts an ambulance driver who took part in the World War as an ambulance driver, Frederick Henry. It seems to be an autobiographical novel. Then after that, he wrote Men Without Women. It is compilation of short stories. Then Death in the Afternoon, he wrote in 1932. For Whom the Bell Tolls in 1940. It is also his very famous novel. And the most loved and the most famous novel, The Old Man and the Sea, written in 1952. Hemingway committed suicide in 1961. Hemingway passed a very interesting and complicated life. As we know, his father was a hunter and fisherman, and he wanted Ernest love this hobby. But his mother was against this because she was a teacher of art and music, and she taught Hemingway some music as well. And it is clear to us that Hemingway did not like music lessons. When he had got free time, he used to go fishing or hunting. Besides this, he was also an amateur boxer, and in one of his fights he injured his eye, and exactly for this reason he was not able to serve like a normal soldier during the World War. If we pay attention to the fact that Ernest volunteered to drive an ambulance for the American Red Cross in Italy, it may seem for some people an easy job, but it was harder than being in a battle, because he carried wounded soldiers from battlefields, and like a human, this fact also deeply reflected in his life. As we know, his father had committed suicide as well, but he had seen not only wounded men but also so many dead men during his life, and we may connect both of these facts to Ernest Hemingway's later life that left incurable signs. To live is the only way to face the ordeal, and the ultimate ordeal in our lives is the opposite of life. Deep sea fishing, bullfighting, boxing, big game hunting, war, all are means of ritualizing the death struggle in his mind. It is very explicit in his books, such as A Farewell to Arms and Death in the Afternoon, which were based on his own life experiences. Hemingway attempted suicide in 1961, some 3 weeks short of his 62nd birthday, and died at his home as a result of a self-inflicted shotgun wound to the head. As we can see from this little introduction, Hemingway's life forced its way deeply through his literary activity. Hemingway's life was very complicated, not only because of the wounds that he suffered, but also because of his numerous love affairs, his 4 marriages, his being an alcoholic, and his depression. However, he wrote in his own style, which was loved, and what's more, he had millions of readers who read his novels and short stories with admiration. His life by itself was a novel, because if we pay attention, we can analyze that. From early childhood until his last years, he lived his life as how he wanted to live. He was a man of adventures. So, students, this was a little introduction about the writer Ernest Hemingway, his early life, his major activities in his life, his literary contributions to the literature, especially novel. We would start reading text of the novel The Old Man, the Sea in our next lectures. Till then, it's okay. Goodbye and Allah Hafiz.